All right, this is just a friendly reminder. Everyone respect the opinions, including mine. So no dogpiling, no bullshit. And let's get on with the show. So that sand surfing, that's a real person. I guess it's a model. That's from 7 years ago. Hopefully they didn't change the title because of this series, but they predicted the future. They predicted it. So there is a sand surfing scene in episode 6. But let me read you a little article before I do the reviews. This is from comicsbeat.com. This was the 17th. So this is Earl Balin, who is the voice of Jonah. Now I'm going to get to the question and answer that I wanted to get to here. So I'm going to read a part of this interview before we start. Angeles is the interviewer. Angeles asks, was the recording different this time around? What's it like working with Haley Atwell instead of Camilla Ludington? Balin says, the process of recording the show differs from the games quite a bit. For the games, we did quite a bit of performance capture, all of us actors together in a big motion capture volume with the reflective suits and head-mounted cameras. There was also a significant amount of work in the recording booth, but at least for the main games, majority of the work was done in the volume. For The Legend of Lara Croft, it was exclusively solo recording in the vocal booth, especially considering we started recording at the height of COVID protocols, which leads into the second part of the question. I actually haven't had the chance to work directly with Haley or any of the other actors on the project, but that is kind of the norm with most animation and video games these days. So, unfortunately, it was less of a good experience. So, look, I get the woke aesthetics and the cosmetics, but the woke is as deep as the cosmetics. If you want to look for a negative, besides the fact that Camilla Ludington was not in this project, is that the actors didn't get to work together. Now, I think that was the positive with the Clone Wars, was that in Star Wars Clone Wars, all the voice actors were basically in one room. And there was very, very, very little room to do like isolations, like maybe for spoilers. But that kind of sucks. What they try to do is bypass, okay, all these actors have other projects to do, so we'll cut into time and we'll have everybody throw in their voice work at different times, which kind of sucks. But better performance, you get a better performance when the actors are together. So that's my kind of, if you're trying to find negatives with this show, start with the fact no Camilla, okay? And the voice actors did not work together. And same voice actor for Jonah, but and like I said, this is not for people who liked the original 90s Lara Croft. I think that's the Keeley Hawes is moved on. Okay, so we got so episodes 5 and 6. This one I call Lara Croft Falls Down Hard. Now, there is a sand surfing scene in episode 6, but we go over Wanao Gatanga. Wanao Gatanga is episode 5, in which Lara Croft rescues Jonah. Now, Jonah was under the seduction of Charles Devereaux, who she had to go aboard a train. It was very good. I mean, she still is at war with herself as far as her feelings of what she should be doing. She's trying to figure out, does she live a normal life? Does she do, there was a show, and I'll cover it after all these. There was another show that's similar to this one in live action a long time ago with Tia Carrera. But anyway, I mean, is she going to be Indiana Jones? Or, I mean, is she going to be a treasure hunter her whole life, or is she going to live a normal life? What is she going to do? Now, I spoiled myself. I did watch a lot of the gameplay of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I know she kind of looks like Indy with the hat and she's kind of doing desk work. So she seemed comfortable in her own skin in that manner, but here she's trying to deal with the fact that she doesn't want to be in Lord Richard Croft's house. She doesn't want to really do it, but she keeps blaming herself. Now there's a fight with her and Jonah about, that she doesn't care about anybody. Uh, Jonah's kind of acting like the drunk because Devereaux has him under his power. Uh, so the train scene's it's pretty good. It's not great, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the interaction between Lara and Jonah, which I would ship better than Jonah and Abby. But Jonah's supposed to get married to Abby, and that's all there is to it. So I would give uh, what now Watanga, whatever that long name is, that tongue twister of a name. I'll give episode 5 a B plus. Now keep in mind, I didn't say this before, but in episodes, what is it, episode 3 or 4, and then we get to episode 5. Charles Devereaux and Lara Croft do confront each other twice. They have so far they confronted each other twice directly, having like these cafe sit downs. She keeps telling him to stop what he's doing. Now, he hasn't appeared to kill anybody, though he's blown up cities, so he must have killed some people, right? So he's reckless. He wants power. He wants to do the things that Lara Croft is doing. So they're very similar. She's pointed this out. But he doesn't stop what he's doing. He wants the 4 stones. He's looking for the black stone of greed. So it's for him. He doesn't stop what he's doing. He's just power mad. Not a very unique villain, but for Lara Croft, she's seeing a little bit of herself in this guy. So there's a bit of soul searching that she has to do. She's searching within her soul. So the plot is tiring, but it's still good enough for her to take it seriously. The actors are taking it seriously. The plot is serious enough that I'm accepting this grade and this episode. And now on to the episode 6, The Spirit Way. And this is a much more exciting episode. They do go some tomb hunting. They're looking for that final stone. Devereaux has the final stone, but Lara shoots it with an arrow. With the 4 stones combined, she shoots it with an arrow to shoot the stones apart. They go to China. They're going to China, and they go through a tour. There's humor in this episode, and I think the humor is okay. I like the humor. Lara Croft gets thrown out of a park attraction, a theme park that has to do with the golden leaf tree, and finding the stones, finding one of the last stone. So it's a tourist attraction based on the myth of the Black Stone. And she reunites with Jonah. They go on a plane. And Jonah tells her, you got to figure out what you're about. You'll find out. You'll be the last person to find out who you are. But she really pushes, past her. She's got to push past her ego. In the first 3 games in Tomb Raider, Rise, and Shadow, she was kind of like she didn't have a lot of confidence in the first game. The second one, she had way more confidence. In the third one, she didn't check herself, but she starts to check herself a lot here in this one, in this sort of 4th installment of 8 episodes. And she's trying to figure out, once she gets the stones, what does she do? Does she destroy them or hide them, or what is she going to do? Because she feels that she can't just mindlessly go about tomb raiding, artifact hunting if it just gets people killed. It's like it's not worth it. So they solve the riddle of the 3 brothers, 3 mountains. They go to this place, and obviously Devereaux finds it first. They solve the riddle of the Chinese zodiac animals, who won the race first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And then they go and teleport to Mongolia in the desert. And then there's a whole windsurfing. That's why I showed this woman surfing in the desert and sand surfing. It's like that's what Lara does. And that video was made 7 years ago in live action. There you go. Like, you got somebody, I guess somebody's copied that video. Holy crap. So Lara Croft goes sand surfing, and then she goes to that mystic temple, and it's really, there's some nice visuals. The animation It's pretty good for the storytelling of the myth of the Black Stone, and I like the sand surfing animation. But I mean, it's really pretty, the colors and everything. So I feel like the nitpicking is enough to say you could do better later on if you were to make a series two of Lara Croft, but it doesn't ruin my experience. And yeah, she finds Charles Devereaux and he's up to no good. She shoots the four stones out of his hand. And then Charles gets away, of course, because of course he does, because we have two more episodes. But she's about to fall off a cliff. Charles grabs her and then throws her down, and she falls like she's tumbling, but she falls like I don't know 60, 70 feet below, and she's not in a good way. I mean, she might be dead or crippled. Uh, but she tries to get back up with the custom made grappling hook that somebody in the village of China made for her in episode 2. So she doesn't make it. She gets she's being carried off by monks, or maybe they're under Devereaux's power. Jonah's there. So Jonah and Lara are carried off together in gurneys and taken somewhere, I don't know, a hospital. So this one had more excitement. There was more going on. There was more at stake. And for this one, I'll give it A minus. Even though the two episodes had about the same amount of content and conflict, Lara Croft was at somebody that was at the Zip was making a joke about Lara having a water slide in her manor, make new memories. But she has all these old memories she's trying to get past. She's trying to get past the ghosts in her conscience, in her life. And I think it's done very well. It's not done over the top. There is a lot of crying. There's a lot of emotion. But of course, she's a woman. She's vulnerable. Like, she's not Captain Marvel, be like, I can punch every bad guy, I'm good at shit. Like, she's not, and she's definitely not fucking Tila from Masters of the Universe Revolution and Revelation, which I'm sure everybody wants to compare her biceps to, but this is not Tila. I promise you it's not Tila, and I reviewed the fuck out of those episodes, and you know where I stand with those. So be patient with me. I'm thinking about Venom 3 tomorrow, but I'll definitely be back to review the final two episodes. Okay? Alrighty.